America's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Robert.
And the greatest driver.
Teresa.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Robert
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Thanks, Jimmy. We got a few safety rules to go over. First, rule number 1. If you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram or have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red E-cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please stay seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use the red cord above your head if you need any assistance. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord
weather
and
starts
remain
to
seated.
change, and you get less and less
Please, no smoking of any kind
water.
during the tour.
It's almost like a
Rule number
desert,
3.
but not quite.
Rule number 4, be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, fire effects, sudden tram movements, and many water effects. You'll want to have your cameras out for great
these
photo
are all the
opportunities,
movies that
but
they've
keep
done
an
for
eye on them
years.
so they don't get wet. Finally, for your safety and for the safety of those around you, again, please do not use selfie sticks while on board. Universal got started back in 1912 when our founder, visionary Carl Laemmle, brought his movie company west and opened Universal Pictures. On March 15th, 1915, Mr. Laemmle invited the public to visit his studio, and the Universal Studios tour was born. We're now heading down our movie poster timeline, which covers our history from that not-so-long-ago silent era all the way up into the 21st century with some of our most recent blockbusters. And where is the timeline taking us? It's going to be taking us down onto our front lot, the nerve center of the studio, which is where we have most of our 28 sound stages. Inside these buildings, we can create any environment that the story demands or that the script calls for. We can also use the soundstage for a television show that maybe doesn't even have a script or story, like a non-scripted show. Or you could call it a reality series. Ahead of us is soundstage number 12, which is currently used for the reality series The Voice, which airs Mondays and Tuesdays at NBC. For the upcoming season 16 of The Voice, we're going to have returning celebrity coaches Blake Shelton, Kelly Clarkson, big game halftime performer Adam Levine from Maroon 5, and also a new member of the coaching team on The Voice is going to be John Legend. Here's the host of The Voice, Carson Daly.
Hi everybody, I'm Carson Daly from NBC's The Voice. I want to welcome you to the Universal Front Lot. Our show is filmed on stage 12. It happens to be the largest sound stage on the Universal lot. Take a look.
And it was inside that stage that all the following sequences were shot. Stage 12 was big enough to hold sets like the Visitor Center for Jurassic Park, downtown Hootville for the live-action How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and the Eden East Resort for Couples Retreat. And on the screens, that's what the stage looks like on the inside when there isn't a lot of scenery there. It's a full-size SUV back there. And segments from The Voice are also sometimes done in stages 20 and 19, which are coming up here on the left. Once we're inside these stages with the doors closed, they are 98% soundproof, hence the term sound stage. Also, once we're inside, we can get optimum control over things like lighting and weather effects. So we do a large percentage of our interior filming inside the sound stages. Stage 18 coming up on the left was recently used for the limited series on Bravo called Dirty John with Eric Bana and Connie Britton. And the source material for Dirty John was an LA Times podcast of the same title. The last two stages here are stages 17 and 16. They contain some of the interiors of Cloud 9, the big box store, which is the title location and workplace for the series Superstore, with America Ferrera, Ben Feldman, Mark McGinney, Colton Dunn, Lauren Ash, and Crazy Rich Asians Nico Santos. And Superstore airs Thursdays on NBC. Cloud 9 is a really big store. It's so big. How big is it, Robert? So big that it takes up 3 of these stages 17 and 16, and also stage 21, which is coming up here on the left. Yeah, this stage is also used for Superstore. We have some assigned parking spaces here, dressing room trailers, wardrobe trailers, makeup trailers, and they're all used exclusively by the cast and crew of Superstore. We call this a base camp. Stage 21 has also been the home to epic movie sets such as Mission Control for Apollo 13. And now here's the director of that film. It's Academy Award winner Ron Howard.
Realism was an essential element for Apollo 13. After all, we were recreating an important moment in American history, a moment many Americans witnessed on television. We thought about filming in Houston, Texas, where the original control room of the Apollo missions still exists. Unfortunately, NASA's engineers didn't have filmmaking in mind when they built Mission Control. Since there was no room for the elaborate camera cranes and tracks we needed for the shots, we had to build our own Mission Control. Everything had to be exact, down to the tiniest detail.
Stages 41 and 42 to the right are recently used for season 2 of Good Girls with Christina Hendricks and Retta and Mae Whitman. That's returning soon to NBC. Also on the right, Assemble the Minions. Illumination Entertainment next exit. Illumination Entertainment is our animated features division. They brought the Minions to us in films like Despicable Me 3 with Yellow Light by Pharrell Williams, who was recently heard as the narrator for Universal and Illumination's Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. The Illumination folks have got their offices inside one of the bungalows coming up on the left, and a lot of you are already looking that way. Not that I blame you. Who's going to look at me when there's a talking teddy bear? The Ted movies with Mark Wahlberg and the voice of Captain Ed Mercer himself, Seth MacFarlane, were productions of Universal and Bluegrass Films, who've got their offices inside one of those first bungalows on the left. We also just passed the offices of Dylan Clark Productions. Mr. Clark has been the producer of films like a little Netflix movie called Bird Box and upcoming movies like The Batman and Years of War. These other bungalows here contain production offices for some of the other top production companies in the business. Michael Schur, creator of Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Good Place, and the upcoming Abbeys with Natalie Morales. Yeah, he's got an office here. Also, Elizabeth Banks' production company, Brownstone Productions. They have an office here as well. So, may the odds be ever in their favor. Then there's Bungalow 5195. Currently, it's home to the De Laurentiis company who brought us the NBC series Hannibal. It was also once the working space of the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, the director of classics like Psycho with Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates.
We have 12 vacancies.
Also on the left is this 3-story structure. These are more production offices connected to stages 22 and 23. Stage 22, with that poster for the Titan Games, was being used for the recent seasons of Will and Grace. These stages have also been used for some reality shows like season 13 of America's Got Talent and also seasons 1 and 2 of Jennifer Lopez's World of Dance. There are also some of the newer facilities here. They were used for the first time in December 2016 for the TV event Hairspray Live. And we're now leaving the front lot and heading onto the back lot, where the world is just around the corner. Over to the left, we've got our Metropolitan sets and our New York street. Speaking of reality shows, more than once we've had obstacle courses placed along the entire length of this street for various rounds of the reality series American Ninja Warrior, which airs Mondays on NBC. Speaking of Hairspray Live, yeah, these sets, some of them became 1962 Baltimore for that production, with newcomer Manny Bolio as Tracy Turnblad. And Harvey Fierstein as Edna Turnblad, Tracy's mother. Martin Short as Wilbur Turnblad. Edna Sesman, Tracy's father. We're going to get a closer look at some of the sets in a moment. You might have noticed that they're not real buildings. They're mainly just false fronts and sides of buildings, or what are called facades. We found that for filming purposes, that's very often all that we need, only what the camera can see. I mentioned that we have American Ninja Warrior on Mondays. On Thursdays at NBC, you can catch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which has done some filming here as well. Over to the right, if you look fast, you'll see our brand new monster movie mural created by local LA street artist Tristan Eaton. That's commemorating our legacy of making classic monster movies here at Universal, like a Frankenstein with Boris Karloff. All right, I mentioned Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's Michael Schur's show featuring Andy Samberg, Terry Crews, Melissa Fumero, and Andre Brower. That's done some filming here. And Andy Samberg also used some of these sets for his satirical film, Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping. which also featured a couple of SNL writers, Yorma Taccone and Akiva Schaffer, who along with Andy Samberg comprised the group Lonely Island. Speaking of SNL, live from New York or New York Street, and almost live, here's my co-host Jimmy Fallon.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighbor. Once got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
We got some assistance with the recent redesign of these sets from people like our friend, director Steven Spielberg. He's only one of the many legendary directors with whom Universal has collaborated over the years. There's also Academy Award winner Peter Jackson, the director of our 2005 retelling of the classic King Kong story. Go ahead, Peter.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to.
Oh, here we go. Get ready. Your glasses.
That movie on
The King Kong exhibit.
about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Ladies and gentlemen, adventure awaits us. Please hold on to your personal belongings. Remain seated at all times. Keep your arms and legs aside. And now, welcome to Skull Island.
Glasses on, everybody. We're back in Skull Island. Ladies and gentlemen, King Kong 360 3D.